Everyone. Greetings to Being Brown at Work Live. It is that time of the week. Yes, favorite time to reach out to my Black and Brown women in the workplace and provide you some nuggets, some tools, methodologies to help your journey along. And in this session, I'm going to address something that has come up regularly. I'm getting a lot of messages. It even tends to be one of the top responses in polls that I've been sending out. And I thought this would be a perfect time to jump into this even more. It's going to be some pieces that you've heard before, but I think if I wrap it around a total context of creating access for yourself, then you'll have some definite steps that you can take to do just that. Because access does create opportunity. There's no doubt about it. But unfortunately, although things are shifting, as you know me, I'm a glass half full person, things are shifting. There is more often than not still that we have to create it for ourselves, right? We have to be intentionally focused and active around creating the opportunity. I'm all about progression in 2022. I think you've heard me share that with you before. And just because you're moving, it doesn't mean that you're progressing, because you can move in place and go nowhere. You've heard me say that before. So, what I'm going to share with you in this session are true things, actions you can take, and you've got to do. You've got to do the work. You own your career, right? You own your career. No one else does. Your boss, your mom, dad, your best girlfriend, your husband, nobody owns your career but you. So you have to do the work. So, and I'm going to talk on both sides because, this is something that both the leaders in the workplace, our human resources group, our talent management, our people groups, they own this within the workplace as well as we do ourselves. So you're going to hear me talk about both sides of this critical topic. So let me jump right in. And let's talk about the workplace side of it. What could our corporations, our companies, our workplace be doing for us that would help us create opportunity? Well, one of the things, and I know this is something that's really gotten some momentum lately, I would say probably in the past year or so, really some momentum, is creating these mentorship programs where they really have identified individuals within the organization. And it is my hope that these individuals have raised their hand, because you can't say, okay, you're going to be a mentor, because not everybody can be. That's not a good mentor, is when you just assign it to someone. But when they create these mentorship programs and they match people up. Now, I'm not necessarily a fan of, like I said, appointing and matching, because I think to have a good mentee mentor relationship, you need to cultivate some connections. There has to be some chemistry. And as you may have heard me share in other situations, to be a good mentor, you have to have a vested interest in the individual. But I love these companies that have mentorship programs. I love them. I was a keynote speaker a couple years ago. It might have been last year or so, and also part of a panel for a particular company that is doing just that. They were kicking off their mentorship program, and I loved hearing from the leader of the organization talk about how important mentorship is and their why behind doing it. And it was specifically for women in the organization, because it was the women resource group that invited me to speak. So I love seeing this action, this engagement around establishing these mentor programs. So if you haven't done that yet at your company, reach out to me. I'd be glad to connect you with some individuals who are doing that, have done it already, and are in the process of doing it. Best thing you could do, one of the best things you can do. And here's another very critical thing that I believe workplace organization leaders, your people leaders, your human resources group needs to change. This is, you may have uh, joined me when I had Cheryl Thompson from Cadia on several sessions ago, episodes ago, and we talked about the systemic change that needs to happen in the workplace. Well, here's another area of systemic change, and that's around deciding when people are ready for a promotion or when you're hiring for a role. And there's a tendency to not look at the potential of the individual, but look at the competencies, the things that they've done. Most brown and black women haven't had the opportunity to have a P&L responsibility or to lead a major initiative overseas as an expat, to do various things that would check every single box that says, yes, they've done it all, or they have every competency ready to for this promotion or for this role. If you look at that, 9 times out of 10, because we don't get those opportunities, we're not going to be selected or deemed as ready. But if you look at the potential, if you look at the potential of the individual, that makes the world a difference. I will tell you, in my career, the reason why I got to the vice president position is because years ago, someone saw the potential in me to take me from an individual contributor to the executive ranks and into the director role. They saw the potential. I hadn't done every single thing on the job description for the director position. I hadn't had multi sites. I hadn't, done all of those things, but they saw the potential, made a world of difference, made a world of difference. And I'm going to add this before I flip over to what we should do being in control of our careers. If you're a mentor, if you're someone's mentor, or you have someone's ear, you may not be given the term mentor, but you have someone's ear, and they're coming to you for advice, they're coming to you for information, they're coming to you for feedback. Give them true and honest feedback. I can't tell you, some of you that's been around me for a long time, you know that I love feedback is power. Feedback is everything. When it's openly, honestly, completely, fully given. I'll use myself as an example again. It was invaluable for me. I cannot even begin to measure the impact, the 2 pieces of feedback I received early in my career. Before I went into the executive ranks, and just as I was going into it. The first one, before I even went into it, and you've heard me say this before, now you know where I've got it from. Linda, working hard's not enough. Because I thought it was. I thought I had that down, right? But it was the feedback I got that told me, yeah, you're really good at what you do. You work extremely hard. And you're going to keep working extremely hard and be probably right where you are, if not, maybe a little further along, but not where you aspire to be, because that's not enough. One piece of feedback, invaluable. The second one, when I went into my first time stepping into the director role, I was told, Linda, again, we know you're going to hit, this is exactly what way it was said to me. I remember it verbatim. We know you're going to knock down all the pins, right? Because I'm good at what I do. So we know you're going to knock down all the pins. Just make sure they like you. Feedback, again, that I wasn't even thinking about, that I didn't match with anything. It never occurred to me. But it was immeasurable because I listened to that feedback and then I implemented it. I didn't just focus on working hard. I didn't focus on that. I focused on being liked, or basically establishing relationships, gaining trust, people being comfortable with me, allowing them to get to know me. So if you're a mentor or if you have someone's ear, give them honest, full feedback. And so I'm going to take that last piece I just mentioned and go right into the ownership, the how that you could be, you as a Black and Brown woman, could be making the difference in creating your opportunity. And the first thing is networking. Build those relationships. Allow people to get to know you beyond your name, you beyond your title, you beyond maybe what they might see you eat at lunch when they know you like tacos or whatever. Really allow them to get to know you and you get to know them. Sharing your thoughts, your ideas, sharing some initiatives, bouncing things off of them. Some people might call it water cooler talk. We're not around water coolers anymore, but really spending time to build relationships, build your network. Another thing is if you are either working remotely or hybrid, whatever your situation is, be intentional about people knowing who you are. So that might require you to shoot out an email or a Teams message to a senior leader and say, hey, I'd like 15 minutes on your calendar just to chat, introduce myself. I had a friend who left one company and went to another one a year ago, and she intentionally did that all the way up to the CEO. Has made a world of difference in her career at this new company in just 1 year. The CEO knows her, knows about her mom, knows what she likes, knows just about everything about her. And when they run into each other, when she does go into the office, it's a positive chit chat. She's even gotten emails from him that had other people distributed on him something that he knew about her. Invaluable. He knows her name, but here's the kicker. He knows her name because she's controlling that relationship. So the other piece of information and how is you control the narrative. Don't let someone else write the narrative about you. That's why it's so important for you to build these relationships. That's why it's so important for you to reach out and introduce yourself, connect, because you want to be in control of what's said about you or what people think about you, such that when something to the left or something that is not right comes into their space of information, they can say, wait a minute, that doesn't seem like the Linda I know, right? Because you have created the narrative around you. While we're talking about narratives, let's talk about the NSTs. You guys know what I mean? That's my term, negative self talk syndrome, the NSTs. Let's kill it. Yes, it's been challenging for us. There's no doubt about it. Black and Brown women, yes, it may not be set up for you to have full access or for your access to look the same as some of your colleagues, but it does not mean that you're not worth it. So stop telling yourself that you're not. Stop telling yourself that it can't be, that it won't happen, that it's not for me. Reshift, change, rewrite that mindset narrative such that you tell yourself access does belong to you, that you are worthy of it, and that you are ready for it. So I tell you, sometimes we can be our own worst enemies. We can be our own worst enemies. And even when the scenario, the situation, the atmosphere is right for us, because we've walked around with those NSTs, we can kill it. We can kill it. So, those are some of the very measurable, impactful steps you can take. Oh, and I just thought of one more. Just thought of one more. If for whatever reason, either your company hasn't started a mentorship program or you've been challenged to establish mentor relationships in your company, doesn't mean you can't have a mentor. It just means you got to step outside of your company. And even if you have them within your company, don't limit yourself to that. I have mentors. Yes, I still have them. They're always valuable. I don't care where you are. Okay. You can have mentors both in your workplace and outside. And I actually would recommend you do that because it will give you such a breadth of perspective. It'll allow you a lot of opportunity to get some very, 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 very highly beneficial input and insights. Okay, so these are some very measurable things, some tangible, actionable steps that you can take that you will see measured difference in change in your access. What'll happen is your mentorship, your network will grow and sponsors will rise out of it. And before you know it, your shoulders being tapped, you're getting that email that says, hey, you're being considered for an opportunity, or can we meet? I've got an idea. I've got something that I think I want you to lead. Love to hear your thoughts on it. You can create that access. You can definitely create it. I will tell you though, out of everything I said in this session, both what the workplace owns and what you own, specifically in the piece that you own, because the workplace could be doing everything, right? They could be, spot on doing everything. But if you don't believe that you deserve it, if you are continuing to hold on to the NSTs, that negative self talk, it doesn't matter. All the other steps, all the other things I listed won't matter, won't have an impact, and it doesn't matter what the company does or doesn't do. So it starts with you. That mindset shift, that understanding your value, your worth for the access, for the opportunity starts with you. All right, take care. Until next time.